Gosh. The hat is tired. The hat is tired of me. I am also tired of the hat. I look sweaty. Look sweaty? Look what I have me I do. Anyway. So, the dark moments now. So in 2017, first semester, I went back. Almost did not get registered. But you know God bad, so God good bad. Right, and so he compelled finance to register the young lady with no money. I was registered on the grounds that I was a student worker. Right, so I was contributing in a sense to the university, and they, because when you work on campus as a student, you do not get any of the money. All of it goes to your tuition. And so that was the grounds upon which I was registered. So I was registered, and then I met Dr. Rhonda Harrison, and I'm saying her full name, that semester. So I would have gone into her class and I was not registered. And the first day the lady came into the class, she stood at the front and she said, all those of you who are not registered, according to the university's policy, please come out of my class. I'm doing this decently. I am not going to call any names. She was looking straight at me. I'm not going to call any names. But I will not accommodate you in my class. And, you know, by this time, I would have heaped up a whole lot of insecurity because of the needs that I had, because of the things that I lacked. Going to school each day and not having any lunch money, you just have bus fare, and I couldn't participate in anything at school. I had to leave as soon as the 5 o'clock classes ended. I had to just rush out because it was hard to get taxis to come home. That was one of the challenges. I loved my home, by the way, so at some point it didn't matter, but then everything just started to get overwhelming, you know? Right. And so at the end of that semester, tough semester, I was not focused. If Anna Sue was not behind me, reminding me about the assignments and pulling me. I've had days when I went to school and Anna Sue said, Aisha, come, we could go pray. And we would find a quiet place and Anna Sue would pray her heart out for me. Anna Sue lived on dorm. Anna Sue noticed that I wasn't eating at school. And instead of saying, why you not eat? I remember one day class ended and the canteen is at the top of the school. And our class, well, most of our classes were in Robinson Hall at the bottom, down at the bottom. And class ended, so each time when class ended, we just walked through the front door and I just went over to the gazebo and just stayed there until the afternoon classes. So I remember one day we were walking out and I said, alright, I'm so late, and she said, follow me go up a calf. I froze. I kid you not exaggerating. I had never, remember, I know I would have done a whole semester before. I never went into NCU's cafeteria before that day. Never. Because where y'all going on no money? Where y'all go? I drink my little water and my little tongue. Auntie used to always have tongue in the fridge. I full one buckle of tongue. And I always, you know me, always have my water, my water chuck. And I have them in my bag and I just sip the water, sip some juice, balance it out. So I feel like my pressure drop. I drink some juice. So I freeze because I said, God, why Anna Sue want to embarrass me? And she said, Aisha, you not come? So I say, no, me not come. Ira, you want something? I'm pause again, come and say, what she mean? What you mean, Miss Lady, go on along with lady? And she said, Aisha, come with me. Is that alright? Come with me. I go buy it and I have money for my ID. I'm say, oh, you put money for your ID? Because I try to take out the awkwardness, you know. And she say, when you register, man, you just tell them, say, you want to put some of the money for your ID. I'm going to say, oh, okay. Alright. I don't know when that's going to happen. But alright. And so we go to Calf and Anna, so when you guys up there, I'm going to see the price. They be I say, murder. Wow. And I say, I saw no suffer up here. And she say, it's alright, man. Just tell me what you want. And you don't know me. I gotta be humble and I gotta take the cheapest something because of people money. And I don't want to hurt up people's head. So I took a Saldanza banana chips and a Minute Maid. I think I did love Minute Maid, you know, boy. God rescue me from the diabetes. I love Minute Maid. So I took a Saldanza banana chips and a Minute Maid. And she said, that's all I want. I'm gonna say, yeah, man, it's okay. And she said, they have some baked things over there, but I didn't bake, you know. And she was chatting about I didn't bake, you know. And I don't like how they taste, but if you want to taste one of them, it's alright. I didn't take anything, but just take the Saldanza and the Minute Maid and me and Anna Sue. She said, you want to come up a dorm? I never been in the dorm before. So she said, alright, when you go there, I'm going to ask you to sign one book. So just sign the book. Nobody feel no way if you ask you to sign the book. So signed the book and I went up to the dorm and she showed me a room and we went in because you have some little living room things. So we went into one of those rooms and we sat and we ate and she said, Aisha, you alright? And we were there and she was just she just automatically encouraged me. I boiled my spirit. And then I started opening up to her, you know, about my mindset, and I told her about Joel, and I told her about the financial situation that I was in. And she said, well, God no must know why I carry you come down here. God I work you out, man. God I work you out, work out something for you. I say, I know, I'm just taking it easy. Yeah, so that was the first time I went into the canteen and the first time I went into the dorm. And then, I think in that same week, I'm trying to remember how I met Georgina Brown. That's one of my other anchors during school. I think either I met her... No, Nicholas introduced me to Gina. One day, he just said, oh, I'm somebody who I meet, you know. So I said, alright, no problem. So met her. When I saw Gina for the first time, I said, the girl that fever me saw. Oh, where she come from? Why does she look like me so much? She favor me for true. She could have people thought we were sisters. So yeah, then that was Georgina. And then we became friends. And so it was me, Anna Sue, Nicholas, and Georgina. Every day, see we PP clock behind each other. When class finished, we meet up right at the gazebo and we eat. All this time, Anna Sue buy me food to eat. You know, Anna Sue big up herself. A big friend. Buy me lunch and all these things. And yeah. But I was still low. And so one day I went to school and I told Anna Sue before the semester finished, I said, Anna, I know exam time was coming down. And she said, Aisha, when the exam time, you go up there and ask them for an exam permit. And them give you it to go do your exam. And I said, alright. Sounds like a plan. I prayed and I got every day. So if I had exams, all my exams were in 1 week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. All my exams were shared up. So on Friday, I would have been at finance for exam permits. God opened the way. I got the permit. Monday, I went back again. Got the permit. Tuesday, more permit. I just get permits. So I just get the permit them left, right, and center. The last day I went, Same Garfield person I went to, and he said, tomorrow your last exam. I'm say him say alright, and him just what's the idea again, and him do him thing, and I was given permission, and him say Miss Joseph before I left, him say Miss Joseph, try to work on the balance before, you know, before summer session start at least, so that they don't hold your grades. And in my mind I was like, they can't keep your grades them, you know, cause I'm not feel nothing because God says I'm poor, so by that during that time, all of the money that was being paid at school was either from persons giving me gifts or from me working on campus. My hours went up. No, I might lie. My hours went down because of the amount of courses that I picked up that semester. And so, because Miss Campbell was like, Aisha, you came here for school. But the semester before that, I was working more hours than I was attending classes because I registered for 4 courses, like I said. And she was like, actually come up, and I thought about them and said, alright, then a school me really come here for true. So let me just do that. And I put it before God, and God allowed me to be registered with that many courses, with that many courses. So I went ahead with it, and so I got my permits for all my exams, and I all I could do was pray. And I'm not saying that in a way like, Lord, all I could do was pray. No, all I could do was pray. And that is one of the most powerful things. That's one of the most powerful weapons that we have as children of God. Because when you pray, the very act of praying, you know, activates heaven, you know. You get heaven's attention when you say, Heavenly Father. And not just the Father, look, you know. All the armies of heaven are listening to say, and then they look to God like, God, you know, what do we do? And he says, okay, go get it done. So prayer is powerful. So if you're out there and you feel like all you can do is pray, honey, that is about as much as you need to do, because something happens when we pray. So don't feel ashamed if all you can do is invite God's presence, if all you can do is get God's attention. Don't be ashamed of that. Just pray and ask him to journey with you. So yeah, we're there, and Anna Sue has my back, Gina has my back, Nicholas also was supportive, and of course Joel was always on call. God bless that man. Always on call. And the thing about Joel is I could just tell him anything. I could literally just tell him anything, and he'd always have a word of encouragement and a word of prayer in my behalf. And so those people kind of helped me to hold it together, you know, in that time. And so by the end of that semester, I was talking about exams. I went to the exams, and the last exam I wrote, I sat in the exam room studying. I study because I'm not so bright, so when we get the work them, I do the work them, and when the teacher teach, I'm always writing. So I study, and I study thoroughly when I'm studying. I can't swat. I squat or swat, yeah. I'm sorry. I can't swat, so I have to study. And so I studied, but my faith was not active. I was literally just going and hoping, not hoping, just going and just going with the wind. And you know, I wasn't being intentional about making God know exactly what was in my heart. Falling apart mentally because of insecurities. So I started developing many insecurities in 2017. You'll hear more about that soon. Right, so I sat in the exam, that exam that I had on Thursday. It was Rhonda's exam. Same lecturer that told me to get out of her class. So at NCU, they have some slips of paper that you write your name, your ID number, the date that you do the exam on. And you keep that as a receipt that you wrote the exam, so that, you know, if anything goes off, you can say, hey, I actually wrote this paper on such date, and, you know, whatever. I sat down, I kid you not. I was supposed to write Aisha Joseph on the paper. And I could not bring myself to writing it. My mind literally froze. So, trying to encourage myself, I say, oh, I remember left that for last, I'm not for write my name. Yeah, and I opened the booklets and I started reading the questions. I know I knew the information, but I could not remember anything. I started looking around and the place started getting foggy. And my mind, it was the first time I had that experience. I would have had the same experience many times in the future. But it was the first time I was having that experience. I felt like my mind was going to break. That's the best description I can give. And I don't know if you can relate to that kind of feeling. And that came out of all the uncertainty and all the shame that I was feeling and hoarding. And I did not come to the realization that I was so burdened until I was sitting in that exam room. So after a week of God coming through for me and giving me the permits to write the exams, I was still thinking about the balance on my account and what was going to happen and etc. So I had that entire semester's tuition to pay. That was January 2017. Still had the entire semester's tuition to pay. And so I was in that exam room on the last day and I was like, oh God. I put my head on the table and I started to pray. I said, God, just let me write this exam. And keep doing what you... Because whether or not I was in a good place, mentally or no, me passing any exam, any interview, any test, had to be as a result of God's mercy. Had to be. Because people don't study for tests and fail. People are bright and still not successful. And like I said at the beginning of the video, there is nothing spectacular about Aisha. It's just God and his favor. And so I said that to God. I said, God, regardless of whether I'm confident in my abilities or no, or whether everything is okay or no, I would still need you to help me to pass this exam. So just come and do what you need to do. And even though my mind did not clear up completely, I was able to write the exam. Come on to the exam and Anna Sue was like, Asha, how's it? I said, Anna Sue, the talking, I can't focus. I don't know what's happening to me. And she said, I have a panic attack. I say, no, but my mind feels like it is going to break. And she said, what you mean? I'm say, and I saw me no know. And she said, Aisha, we need to fast and pray. I'm say, yeah, we can do that. Anyway, Thursday, so I run go home. and locked my door. This same room, so this is the room that I used to stay in. I came home, I locked my door, and I didn't come out. So uncle came and he knocked on the door and he said, I cry. So I don't cry loudly, but if I'm crying passionately, I catch for air very rapidly. Like somebody who is wheezing or somebody who is having an asthma attack. So you will hear that sound consistently and pick up that I'm crying. If you know what I sound like when I'm crying. So he comes to the door and I was like, I cry. And him did and knock, and the door was not locked, you know, but if he knocks and I do not welcome, and the people them house me living, you know. And if they knock and I do not welcome them in, they do not open the door. So him daddy and him call him say, Mommy, and they call each other Mommy and Daddy. Even though I'm here now, and this my uncle's like, Mommy, and she was like, Daddy. Strange. Anyway, so him say, Mommy, Aisha cry on me, I call her, she don't answer me. So of course, auntie's a female, you know, so sometimes she will break the rule and she will barge in. Don't mind. So she come in and she say, want me to you? And then probably she realized, like the teacher instinct kick in and she realized, no, wrong approach, Ione. She slow down, she push up by the door and she say, you know, so you can talk to me. What's happening? And I say, Auntie, I feel like I'm going to go crazy. She bind it in the name of Jesus. And she bind up the Satan and she whip him and she fling him out her house. I'm sorry. And you know, she did it and she pray and she said, Aisha, you gotta do it. You gotta do this and the enemy never get the victory. And she preached a sermon. But I was discouraged. So anyway, Damien told me time to apply for summer program again. I just apply for summer program. I will just go look work. Went home, did the summer program right throughout the summer. Same process. I was trying to save. I'm a save, but I owe NCU at that time $100 and some. I saw the $100 and something $1,000 for 180 something. It never reached 200, but it wasn't below 180, somewhere in that region. For the semester that I just completed, and so I did it. I look on the little pay, I look on the little something. I remember my hours, my student work program hours were cut down that semester, so you know you're not really nothing in the kitty. And then I don't know, that summer I was not able to save as much as I did the previous summer. So like everything but money just go wrong. Like it never did work out. On my end. Never, like it just wasn't conducive at the time. And so we say July and we say alright, and we say August and we say And when I spoke to Joel, I said, Joel, this is the situation and this is what's happening. So he said, at the time, he said, boy, I wish I could do more for you. And you know me I gotta be modest. So I said to him, I don't want you to speak like that, right? Just let's pray and hope that God will favor me in this particular season of my life. And you know, we do a regular fasting and prayer, and we tell God what the situation was. So when the end of August came, he said they're going back. I said, alright, yeah, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna go back. But of course the mind deteriorate by this time, you know. deteriorated by this time. The mind not strong for studying a book and stuff. Mind stress out about money and other personal things, which I will talk about in the next video. And so we go back. I went back September out of mere formality. Really, I didn't go back with any faith at all. And people might look and say, but no, you pack up your things then and you travel to Mandeville. That's faith. I tell you the truth. When I came back that September, I didn't have a phone. My phone mashed up. Never have no phone. When I was leaving on the Sunday, I had about, what is it, $20-something thousand? Yeah, I think I had about $20-something thousand. And I came to Mandeville. I prayed, I said, God, I'm gonna buy a sewing machine and I'm gonna start sewing bags and making adjustments and see if I can have a little pocket money. My concern was, you know, you're living in the people them house, and every month I was not able to I wasn't able to take care of, contribute anything to the home some months, because, and I don't know if he would want me to say this, I did not check, so let me skip over that part. The person that was handling that part of it, you know, it wasn't, he was doing the best that he could have done, but it was not enough sometimes, and so I was not contributing to the bills all the time. And you know, I thought about him. I said, God, I'm gonna carry a sewing machine in the people them house and run up them light bill, and I won't be able to, I have not been able to contribute the way I needed to be contributing. And so, you know, me kind of feel a way about that. And then I said, you know, it's okay. I went to uncle and to ask permission to buy the machine, and he said, you can't sew. The truth is, I knew about sewing. I knew about sewing. I knew a few things because I love sewing. I always watch videos. I always practice. But at the time when I bought that sewing machine, the answer was no. The answer was no. So I told him what the situation was. I said, you know, I don't have a lot of money for school, and I just want to make an effort, hoping that God will bless the effort, because that's my constant mindset. I don't know how to roll over and die, even in my depression, even in my lack and anxiety. I don't know how to roll over and die. I always want to try to do something. So yeah, I bought the sewing machine. I'm not sure of it. Uncle said he does not mind. I bought the sewing machine and them said do your thing, and you know, a few people like Anna Sue again would have said, Aisha, make me a dress, and people at school said, Aisha, take in my uniform, and those sorts of things. So people were, you know, rallying around. So that was the money that I had, that I went back to Mandeville with though in the September. Bought my sewing machine, made a little logo, and said we start a business. Yeah. Closer to the end of September, I ran out of money. So I didn't have any money to go to school. I didn't go to school for the last week in September. I didn't go to school at all. And Anna Sue messaged me and she said, little girl, where are you? I haven't seen you. Because Anna Sue would notice that I'm not at school, because we take all of my classes, we take all the classes together. She said, oh, I'm going to see you a long time, I'm going to see you. And I asked Gina for you, and I asked Nicholas for you, and you know, them not say either what's happening. So I said, I haven't been coming to school. And she said, what me to you? And then I didn't answer and she didn't respond. So later on in the evening she called me and she said, Aisha, what really I want? And I said, Anna Sue, I don't have no money. And she said, but you know, so if you come to school and I said, Anna, I don't have any money. And she said, alright. Just let me know if there's anything I can do. and I was like, it's okay. So that was a Monday. So I'm gonna go to school for an entire week, and that was the Monday. Me and Anna had that conversation. And then the Tuesday morning I got up, I typed a message to all my loved ones, all my brethren and friends, to say, well, those who are at home, I told Joel first. I sent a message to Joel. I just said, I'm coming home. And his response was, I understand. Because, of course, that's my best friend, so he would have known the mindset and the state of the heart and, you know, all the expenses that I had to grapple with. Because every day I give him a report at the end of every day. So he would have been the most aware of exactly what I had been going through mentally. It's raining, and you soon hear lightning and thunder, make me afraid, and I forgot a bit. So if this is interrupted, it's okay. So that would have gone into October 3 or 4 thereabouts. So he was the first one I told, and then I called my mother and I said, Mommy, this not work out. And she said, what you mean it not work out? You want me to the machine XYZ? And I said, Mommy, it's not working out. I'm gonna close the window to see if to take out some of the rain. So I'm saying, no, work out. I mean, I don't like pressure, especially mental pressure. So I told her it's not working out. She said, alright, you come home when you come home. So I said, alright. I don't have no money, so I'd have to ask somebody to come for me. And she said, alright, me make you know how much me can give them. So I called the person to come for me and ask them how much they're charging. And they told me, I called my mom and I said, Mommy, XYZ. And she said, alright. Just tell them, say, well, I want them come up, them I go get it. So I said, alright. Call the person. So if you have watched the previous videos, or I think it's the first video, you would have learned that when I was moving to NCU, I was moving out of my sister's one room in which she lived with her 2 daughters at the time, and I was sleeping on the floor. So if we're going back home, that means that I was going back to the same situation. Just thinking about it now, I just want to praise God that is no longer my story. And I'm going to pause again to encourage somebody to work on your faith and to keep trying until you see your faith. Because even though God promises that our faith will be made sight in heaven, there are some instances in your earthly journey that you will see your mustard seed grow and become a flourishing tree that can even be a blessing to other people. And I'll tell you about my home in a little while. Whew. Right, so I was moving back to the same sleep on the floor situation. By this time I would have, well, it was in October, and so that was my 21st, but that would have been my 21st birthday, I think. Math is probably off, probably 22. Probably 22. Probably 22. I think it's 22. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Big adult woman. Right? We should have our life together. Should have had a job. Or still be in school doing something with herself. So I'm going back home. I'm unemployed. And I don't have a proper place to sleep. So I'm going home because I've had a mental breakdown because of the financial situation that I was in, and because of all of the insecurities that I've heaped up as a result of my financial circumstances. And then I'm going back home into another embarrassing situation as an adult. Because like I said, I would have been 21 or 22. Big woman. So when I went home, so driving home, the driver kept asking, because the person is familiar with my story. So the person kept asking me, where am I dropping you? I'm dropping you at your mother, I'm dropping you at your sister. I literally did not know. I didn't know what to say. I called my mother and I said, Mommy, where me I gonna go? Me I gonna come over your yard or me I go down and Miss Train and my sister? She said, I think I go down and Miss Train. When I reach up, me talk to you. So when I got there, my grandmother had an old shop. I'm gonna try finding. No, I'm not editing this video. I'm gonna try finding the pictures and I don't know, show you the picture. So my grandmother had a little old structure at the front of the yard. So when the car went into the yard, Mommy was telling, you know, my little cousin Apple came out and met me and she hugged me. And the hug made me know that she understood what I was feeling. And honestly, me I go smile. I go smile all when me I did. But then there are some instances where I get overwhelmed. And that day was one day where I just I couldn't pretend to be happy. I was dying. I was so hurt because I was coming home and I wasn't sure about where I was gonna sleep and where my things, because even if I get somewhere to sleep, everybody's in a one room situation, you know. So even if I get somewhere to sleep, my things needed to be somewhere else. And hey, God good in a man. God good. I'm telling you, every night I go into my bed, I kid you not, I praise God for having somewhere comfortable to lay my head. And I'll tell you about that in the next video. Like I said. So that day, and mommy was pointing, you know, put her some of them in there. So look at old building and my grandmother. And so she said that she had spoken to my grandmother. My grandmother said that I could sleep in her room. So I was like, alright, but no, so that never did ever work out. Right? I knew that was not gonna work out. So I was there in my grandmother's room, moving. But in my mind, I was like, this is not it. This is not it. So that was October, and my birthday would have been the following week. Right, so I think I stayed in Manipur for 2 weeks before I went home. It was close to my birthday. My birthday would have been the following week. So any Wednesday before the 19th of October in 2017 would have been the day that any Sunday, sorry, would have been the day that I moved back home. So, where am I? I knew that staying in my grandmother's room was not it. It was not gonna cut it. Needless to say that I was uncomfortable, unhappy, diseased, had no sort of peace of mind, and there was absolutely nothing I could do about it. So by this time, I could put on my resume that I am a university student. And so I let that sit on my resume, and I was applying to jobs here, there, everywhere, sending messages. I sent my resume to everybody in my contacts. I just sent out my resume. And one evening, I think it was a Thursday. Things happen on Thursdays, you know. And I tell you, things happen on good and bad. Somebody called me, said, Aisha, you would work on one day here? I said, work anywhere as long as I don't have to work on Sabbath and sell pig. I'm there. And she said, alright, so daycare, you know, but I switch people pick me and whatever. And I went. So just like that, I got a job. So it was a 1 week. But who happy like me? Grateful. Because you're there in the yard and you sit down and everybody does a look on you, say does a look on everybody. So days, you know, pot of cook, you can't contribute nothing to it. If no pot now cook, you can't put on a pot. If you want one little something, you can't buy it. You have to just do it out, you have to cut your eye. Because I don't have money, and like my family's financial situation was not one where people would say, be dishing out money. You understand? It wasn't. So with that day I would feel bad now, I would feel terrible about myself. But you know, we still hang on and we still get up every day and we not commit suicide because we're not bright, so if you take the look of one life God give me. But the mind was diseased. And I don't know if you've ever seen a worm eat a leaf. Slow enough. But trust me, if you hang on long enough, that worm is gonna go from the tip to the bottom. And my mind was literally being ebbed away. Just like it was just being eaten out. And so after that 1 week, when I got that call, I was so grateful. I was like, it doesn't matter if I'm collecting garbage. I'm going. I went, and that was like December. Yeah, that was December. I went, and I reached December. So let's go back to my birthday in 2017. So of course everybody says I'm sad, I'm depressed, I'm stressed out, I lose weight, like, cause you know when I was here I was getting 2 meals a day, so she did kind of look chubby, she kind of look like she not suffer. And you know, when I went home I was like, I lost a lot of weight because I'm balling now. I put on some balling when I had to come home. And so yeah, well, when it was my birthday, on my birthday, Joe was like, we can take a walk. So I'm sorry, no problem. He bought some food and we went for a walk. And of course, we always do those evening walks on the beach where we have worship, and those are the nice, you know, them nice something they are doing when you dates. Yeah, we used to do those things. In their prison now, so we can't do nothing again. but pray, which is fine. Where was I? So right, so we took one of those walks on the beach, and you know, he said to me, you want to talk about how you feel, you know, you want to let out some of that steam. And we have this little diary thing that we do when we are together. If I'm struggling to put my words together, I just write, and he would respond in my diary to what I've written. And so we did a little exercise like that, and I wrote. I started out positively. We started talking about the qualities that we admire in ourselves and in each other, because he would have known that I was feeling insecure, and so I guess he did that to, you know, remind me that I'm still valuable, and you know, just to encourage me a bit. And I appreciated it. I also appreciated the opportunity to let out the steam. And I was very hurt, and I was very disappointed. I was very disappointed that the people who were closest to me could not have done anything to keep me in school at that time. I was also very discouraged, hurt that I was not able to help myself financially at the time. And I just feel worthless and good for nothing. And Joel knew that, and he was trying to change my mind from thinking that way about myself, because I'm a daughter of God. Like, I mean, come on. I couldn't. My eyes were not healed after that conversation. And I spoke very bitterly, but he listened. Because the objective of the conversation was to let out the steam. He listened. And so at the end of there came to a point where he listened to me, and then he was like, all right, we have about 30 minutes left here, because I think you need to go home. And then me I said, I don't want to go home. I don't want nobody see me. I'm tired of people see me. I did not want to be seen. Can't believe that? I wanted to be invisible. I did want to be invisible, because where your degree there? Where you work there? Where you good for? What are you doing? You come back in that same situation. I remember one evening, my cousin's daughter went to her. And you know, because she would have been completing high school by then. And I was walking up there to borrow a comb. Take me to a Wednesday night meeting. Love a Wednesday night meeting, yeah? I was going to Wednesday night meeting. So I was going up there to borrow a comb. And I heard her say to her daughter, you can't go to university right now. You want to come back in the yard, come sit down like Aisha want to earn the money. I bet you look at work and send back yourself to school. I kid you not. Like, I was just run out of my eye. Like I said, no shade. Anything I share in these videos, I have healed from. And I think it was completely necessary for me to hear and experience every single thing that I've been through over the past 6 years. God, I can say this with confidence, that God needed all of those things to steer his miracle. And so if I call a name and if I say something negative to me, you know, say, I don't bother with the bagger. Let's just praise God together. I'm sharing this for somebody who is soaking up the opinions of other people and using it in a negative way to navigate life. Sometimes you're not going to understand your own story. And people are going to see you and say you're broke and hungry. And you're a big woman and you're not working no way. And you and your man broke and you're more broke and your papa broke. And they're not going to know that God is choosing to deliver you in a similar way that he chose to deliver Paul. And they don't need to understand that. But you need the assurance that every turn in your junction, every little bit of your story, everybody you meet, everything you hear should pull you back into the presence of God. Every single thing, you know. So I started crying. I stepped back and I just went for my phone. I took it up and I called Joel and I told everything I called Joel. I told Joel, I said, Joel, guess what I just heard? Joel said, I don't know if you ever hear him say that. Aisha, don't pay that no mind. It's alright. And I said, I couldn't ignore it. To be honest, I couldn't. It hit home. So you know when I'm go to God knowing I'm I say, God, you saw you make people are call me, I use me as an example. Eh? How am I your child? How am I your child and your oh my journey full of so much shame? Shame, you know? I say me shame. I remember one time to me and another cousin were in an argument and she said, that's why you come back in your yard, come sit down and walk this now. Whew, hurt me. But like I always tell myself, I'm sunshine. So if the sun wakes you up, shine. I'm not bother borrow people them come take me little dread and go down and do what me do. I'm a big church. I love Wednesday night meeting. So I went to church and I was there sitting in the back and I was sitting in church and I said, God, me not serve you. Me can't keep no song in my heart. Me can't go on no God's errand. Just I'm so stupid because I was not backsliding, like I didn't come to the point where I'm saying, oh, me not go to church, because where else me gonna go? That's my life. But then I was also at a point where I was like, me not sing, me not do nothing. Me gonna just go to church, go sit down. And I couldn't. The Holy Spirit grabbed me and said, oh, we are try. I spite me. And then I started studying the lives of persons in the scripture. So you grab your patriarchs and prophets and you grab your I'm trying to remember the name of the book, man. There was this particular book. I think it's in my bag back there, Anyway, you grab a spirit of prophecy and you start study like I'm not talking about you get up and you have worship or you have a Bible study on one of those big topics, one of those big prophetic things. I'm talking about you picking a Bible character that go through problem and you try to find nuggets in their story. Try to look at them in their season of discouragement and lack and identify the ways they responded and ask yourself, because God will go fix it. Like we know that we can take it for granted that at the end of our story, even if I did not graduate, at the end of my story I could take it for granted when Jesus comes, I'm going home and all these problems will be recompensed. So when you look at the bigger picture, you have hope. But while the storm is raging, what do you do? And so I challenged myself. I said, Aisha, you need to start looking at what it means to be chastened by God. For make God fix your business. And at that time I told myself I can't handle what I'm asking God. Me not even want to start study this, because go see problem more than what I have in front of me already. And by day I pushed myself and I started studying. Changed my mindset completely. So I was talking to Joel about all of that and I did not want to go home because I was upset. I said, I vex, man, I vex. And him said, no man, a time for go home. I thought nothing of it. So we started our journey back home. When I got home, I realized that there was a table set up with a cake, and there was music playing, and there was food prepared. And I said, my birthday. My family planned a surprise birthday party for me. I never had a surprise birthday party before. And when everybody said them surprised and everything, Joel was like, the reason why I was so quiet earlier when you were venting and expressing your disappointment and your, just how you feel, is because I knew that your family loves you and they are here preparing a surprise for you. And I just want to big up my mother and my sister right now. And their big up is kind of different, but thank you for the effort that you put in. So even though I don't break down in front of my family. I'll be strong in front of them. The only person I break down in front of is my bestie. Yeah. And the only person I'm vulnerable in front of is my bestie. But my mom and my sister, since the house so small and you're in them face, they will see what I'm going through. They'll probably hear the phone calls or hear the different things. So even though I don't say things to them like bam bam bam, they still have an understanding to some extent about my mental state and what I'm going through. And they always find a way to show me that they care. Some little things that warm my heart, So I appreciate them for that. And that's how that section. So I left school, went back home in the same old situation that I was in, and my family, my mother and my sister, decided to have a surprise party for my birthday in 2017. And of course Joel was there, always been there. And God showed me that he wanted me to study lives that are similar to my own in the scripture, that would help me to have sense as he works his miracles in my life.